What's up, guys? It's Coach Grant with First Down Training, and today we're going to be breaking down a slant route wide receiver quiz, okay? So if you guys aren't familiar with our quiz format that we've done in the past, what we're going to be doing is I'm going to show 3 specific clips. I'm going to ask you guys what you guys would do on the specific slant route versus this specific coverage. You guys are going to pause the video, think about what you could do, write it down, whatever helps you guys learn and process it better, and then I'm going to break it down and talk about how you guys can actually approach it, okay? So I hope this video helps you guys some value. I hope you guys like the format of these most recent videos. Hope it teaches you a few things, okay? So now, first release that we're going to get started with here is against this coverage. So it's an inside shade DB who's about maybe a yard or two off, and he's inside shade, and we have to run a 3-step slant route, okay? So now, you guys can pause the video in this specific portion of it and think about what you would want to do against this specific coverage and how you guys would run a slant route. So you guys go ahead and pause the video. Now I'm going to get into breaking this thing down, okay? So now, anytime that I have a DB who's maybe inside shade like so, right? So he's inside shade, but he's off, right? So I've got some yards to work. Maybe I'm off the ball. Maybe I'm out of the slot. Maybe he's just in this simple catch technique where he's about 2 yards off. I got to make sure that I close space with him, number one. I attack his leverage, right? So I'm going to play this clip full speed. So you want to attack his leverage, then work to the outside to try to flip his hips, and then catch that slant route. So everybody knows that when you guys get a straight up press coverage DB who's inside shade, what do you want to do? You want to attack the outside. They call it a diamond release, right? So you take 3 hard steps to the outside. You'd go right, left, and then right. Get that DB to break on it, get him to sit on that fade, and then I slip back underneath. Quarterback throws me the ball, right? So now when you have an off coverage situation DB where he's maybe 1 to 2 yards off inside in this catch, I can't just take off 3 hard steps to the outside because I'm leaving too much of a gap between me and the defender. He's going to have time to recover. He's going to have time to open up his hitch. So what you want to do is you want to attack his leverage first, and that's exactly what this wide receiver does. He attacks him. Is this DB's inside shade for a reason? He's inside shade to protect the inside. He's trying to force you outside. He's not going to give up the slant across his face, but we want to also be able to sell vertical. So how would you guys run a fade if he was inside shade like this? You'd attack his leverage, then you'd go race him to the outside. You'd try to close space with him to make him uncomfortable, put him on his heels, and force that overreaction. And that's why we close space with him. So we make sure when I take off on that diamond release, again, he attacks leverage, then he goes 1, 2, 3 on the diamond release. That's what gets the DB to flip his hips. He commits to it, but he doesn't have all this space to work. We are very close to him, and if he's going to get hands, he's going to try to combat me, try to screw up the timing. I could throw him by at the shoulder. I could throw him by at the hip. So if you guys said that you want to attack his leverage, then work outside on the diamond, you would be correct. If you guys said that, oh, I just want to go straight to the diamond, attack the outside shoulder, get him to flip, then slip under, you would be wrong. Got to close the space with him. We got to attack his leverage in this specific situation. Let's watch the thing again, full speed one more time. Great job attacking his leverage and working back to the outside and creating separation on this slant route. All right, fellas, before we get into this next clip, I want to talk to you guys about an opportunity we are having this offseason. We are traveling out to 8 different cities for 2-day-long quarterback, wide receiver, and DB training camp. So our next camp is going to be in Houston, Texas. Then we're traveling out to Phoenix, Arizona, Newark, New Jersey, Atlanta, Georgia, Chicago, Illinois, Dallas, Texas, Nashville, Tennessee, and Los Angeles, California. Now, I wouldn't even necessarily call these camps, fellas, because we're limiting spots to only 10 to 12 guys per position group, per age group. So again, we're going to be keeping things small, so I would consider it more of a clinic. The reason behind that, like, yes, we could obviously get 200, 300 kids out there, be a great old time, we make a whole bunch of money, but we actually want to take the time to develop you and actually want to take the time to teach you the skills that are going to help your game improve. Sometimes you find when you go to camps, you get 30, 40 guys out there in a group, and you're just running them through drills because you're on a specific time schedule. And I get it, and I can't tell you how many camps I went to like that, and I felt like it was a big waste of time. So we're limiting spots because when you guys screw up, we're actually going to tell you what you did wrong, how to fix it, and give you things to work on that specific aspect. So if you guys are local to one of these 8 cities that we just listed, and you guys want to come out, get some great working with us, with me and my staff this offseason, check out that very first link in the description below for some more information on that. Let's get back to this video. So now, this situation I'm going to give you guys. So how would you guys run a slant route versus this specific coverage right here when it is an RPO in the backfield? So it's an RPO passing concept, RPO, run pass option. So that means that quarterback's going to be reading like a linebacker somewhere inside the field right here, seeing if he crashes down on the run fake, pulling this ball out and hitting you on this slant route. So you guys can pause this video, think about how you guys would structure your route on an RPO slant versus this specific coverage. You guys can go ahead and pause the video. All right, so now I'm going to get into explaining it, okay? So now, why is the RPO important? Why did I make sure that I emphasize that it's an RPO? Because as a wide receiver, you need to understand that it's not just about, okay, I have a slant route, it's the same thing every single time. You have to understand the entire play concept as a wide receiver. That's how I say it all the time. You want to be like a second quarterback on the field, right? You want to be that guy who the quarterback can rely on. He knows you're going to be to a specific spot, but you also want to be able to understand timing, understand, timing with the quarterback, understand what you need to do to make sure you keep timing with the quarterback. So the reason why I say RPO slant is because what a lot of guys will do is that if they have a slant route, they'll take off and they'll do that diamond release that we talked about earlier, right? They'll take off, they'll go to the outside fast, they'll slip back underneath, but the quarterback is doing play action with this running back right here. There's an action back here with this fake. So it takes a little bit longer to develop. So that's when you're as a wide receiver, you can use a little bit longer of a release. So a release I would like to choose in this case would be a slide release where you're sliding to the outside. It's the same thing as a diamond release, but you're slowing the tempo down, working the DB off the platform and getting him to jump. So that's what this wide receiver does right here. Let's watch think full speed. So he ends up sliding to the outside, hitting him with that like triple step fake, and then making this play over the middle. Now we only want to use this on longer developing plays. That's why I said RPO. So if you guys said, oh, okay, it's an RPO slant, he's inside shade press, he's a little bit closer than the last clip, I just want to go straight to the outside, get his hips to flip, self fade, and slip under, you would be incorrect. Because it is an RPO slant, you want to take your time with the release. It is essentially play action, right? So like, let's say, for example, you had to run like a 5-yard out and the quarterback, very basic footwork, was doing like a stretch fake and he was booting out. You wouldn't want to just get to the 5-yard out right away because you're going to get to the window too fast that the quarterback needs you to be at. We need you to be at a certain window at a certain time at a specific time period in the play. And you would be the first read on this case because it's an RPO. The quarterback can't necessarily go through progressions because linemen are blocking downfield and that will be a flag. So it has to be quick, but you have to understand the timing of the play. And that quarterback needs to have a good play action fake in the backfield. That's why we take my time. So you see how KJ Hill, when he does this release, he kick steps with that back leg. He kick steps behind him. He slides out to the outside. He's sliding into that range to where this DB has to make a decision, right? He could either jump with him and shuffle, or he could lunge at him, try to get hands. But either way, we are slowing the tempo down, letting the quarterback do his play action fake, seeing if that linebacker who's inside, who drives down on the run, and then I can go replace him. So we have to understand the entire play concept as a wide receiver, not just what my specific route would be. So the reason why we're doing these quiz type videos, the reason why I've included these on my page is because, fellas, when you guys are watching film, you guys should be going through these situations in your head. You guys shouldn't be going up and watching film and just being like, oh, okay, I'm going to do this, this, and this every time. No matter what, if I have a slant, I'm going to do this release and that release. No, there are different types of slant. There are plays where you're maybe on the outside and maybe it's slant bubble. That's a little bit quicker of a play, right? Maybe there's a play where you're running like a slant route or like a 5-yard under and the quarterback's looking at a corner and like a post and he's going first read to second read to third read, which is you. So you could take a little bit longer. And then there are RPO situations like so. So we have to make sure we understand the specific situations that we're in and the timing of the play. Let's watch this release again one more time, full speed. Great job sliding to the outside, hitting that 3-step on the outside to get that DB to jump and being able to create some separation. Okay, so now this route is not actually a slant route here. This is actually going to be he's running a corner route, but we're going to talk about just this specific coverage and we're going to kind of just break down what you would do against this specific look. So how would you guys run a regular 3-step slant? Like the play concept maybe is like a double slant from the outside and maybe from the slot. Both guys are doing double slant. How would you guys run a double slant versus this specific coverage right here? Okay, so now take a second. You guys can pause the video, think about what you would do, and then we'll break it down. All right, so now I'm going to get into the breakdown of this thing. So if this DB's outside shade like this, and his eyes are in the backfield, right? Outside shade, eyes are in the backfield. What kind of coverage does that dictate that it is? He's not man coverage, that's for damn sure. He's not playing man coverage with his eyes in the backfield, so we can get that out of my mind right now. But he is outside shade, right? So he's giving me the inside. Now, the wrong answer would be, okay, just take the inside release and just go run your slant. You got to give him something off the line of scrimmage because this looks a lot like cover 2. So what cover 2 is where this DB's outside shade, he's trying to get hands. He's trying to reroute you to the inside, force you off of this thing, and you got a safety over the top. You got 2 eye safeties. There's a safety over the top who's playing the deep half of the field, and he's trying to force you inside, so you have to reroute, and then that safety has an easier play on you if you're running a vertical route like a corner, for example, right? Or if you're running a fade, you're going to end up running right into the safety. That's their goal of this coverage. So, as a wide receiver, I got to give him something. Now, this receiver actually decides to go with a split release, which is perfect for this situation, or you guys can do a wide step release, where you step step with the back foot, which is where you step with this back foot outside. You step literally like you maybe take like a little prep step with the front foot and you step wide to get that DB off the platform, get him to jump, and then I could work to the inside and run that 3-step slant. I could not find any clips where a guy was running a 3-step slant versus cover 2, but if you see this kind of cover 2 look, see a zone coverage look where we have a DB who's outside shade like so, I want to threaten him to the outside, maybe keep him honest, kind of threaten him, because again, he's outside shade because he does not want to give you an outside release. So if you guys threaten him to the outside, he will keep the leverage, and that will open up things for you to the inside to be able to run that slant. So again, got to be able to understand coverages, got to be able to understand as a wide receiver. Now, this may seem like a lot, and a lot of people, I can't stand when people say this because they don't know what we're actually trying to accomplish here. A lot of people say that, oh, you can't think about all this stuff during a game. It's just too much to worry about. Guys don't do that. Yeah, no shit, they don't do that. What you need to do is you need to focus on repping this kind of stuff in practice, being very detailed in practice. So when it's a game, it's automated. And when you're watching film, hours and hours of film, these are the things that you should be thinking about so you don't have to think about it during an actual game. You don't have to think about it when you come up to the line of scrimmage. It's automated. So that's why everybody's like, oh, you can't think about all this stuff. Yeah, it's a lot to think about when you walk up to the line of scrimmage because you got maybe 10 seconds at the absolute max if you're running a fast-paced offense to think of something like this. So it has to be automated. So you're playing a team that likes to run this type of coverage. You already know going into a game, going into whatever situation you're in, that this is the release that you're going to do so we can play fast. The goal is to be able to play fast, fellas. Now, we'll watch at full speed. He ends up running a corner, but he could break this 3-step slant off at any time, right? He gives him this split release, and then it's 1, 2, bam. He could break right off of that 3rd step and run that slant, and you see he's got a lot of space in this DB. That DB wasn't able to get hands, and he wasn't able to reroute this thing. He ends up running a corner. It ends up being a pretty good route, but just make sure that we do not force anything to the outside. We keep that DB honest to the outside and take the inside release. All right, guys, we want to thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. If you guys have any questions at all, don't hesitate to leave those in the comment section below. We'll get back to you as soon as I possibly can. Always appreciate the feedback. I hope you guys are liking these style of videos because, you know, I feel like it really helps you guys kind of know how to approach film study and know how to approach understanding a DB and understanding coverages. And again, fellas, if you guys are local to one of the 8 cities that we are traveling out to this offseason, we just got back from Tampa, Florida last week, and it was a great turnout, great camp. So if you guys attended that, we really, really appreciate it. And again, fellas, we're coming to Houston, Phoenix, Newark, Atlanta, Chicago, Dallas, Nashville, and Los Angeles. Small numbers at these camps, fellas. We're going to take the time to develop you. You're going to have maybe at the max 12 guys in your position group. So there's going to be time where we're going to actually take time to tell you what you're doing wrong and how to fix it. So check out that very first link in the description below. We'd love to have you out to one of our off-season camps. I'll see you guys next time.